Well, to discuss the safety of this new generation of substances, I'm joined by athlete and entrepreneur Jason Auld and also addiction specialist and former GP, Dr. Robert Lefevre. Jason Auld, to you first. You take some of these drugs. Why do you take them and what impact do they have on you?
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me. Basically, just to quote an illustrious Scotsman like myself, Adam Smith, he said, from the cradle to the grave, we're striving to improve our position. The Olympics have just been on. Faster, higher, stronger is the motto of the Olympics. 99% of every species that ever existed on this planet is dead. And there's no coincidence that humans are still here because we have ambition and drive to improve on what the previous generation has done. And that's exactly why I try and use cognitive enhancers to become better.
But a lot of people would say to you, why don't you just get a good night's sleep, eat well, exercise, a lot of fresh air, all the things that most people use to improve their mental facilities?
Absolutely, and I think the key word there is most people. Besides the fact that it's not always easy, I mean, I'm sure you've heard all about blue light from computers and blue light from mobile phones that are keeping us awake, and all the other stimulants that are in our food, including caffeine and sugar and E-numbers. But basically, if you want to do something that someone's never done, you have to do something that they've never done to get there. So just like you said in your piece about Silicon Valley execs wanting the edge on their competition, I think you have to try and make a decision and find something that's going to help you be the best you can be.
Can I ask you if you took some before you came on Sky News today?
I didn't. I've just had a very strong coffee.
OK. All right, Jason. Dr. Robert Lefevre, what are these drugs meant for, and how much testing has been done on them for people who are taking them, who aren't taking them for the conditions that they were actually prescribed for?
Well, there are people who might benefit from them. It's said that there's some groups, air traffic controllers, doctors even, people who need to concentrate intensely for a short time. Also, there's the possible genuine use in people with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, or people with Parkinson's disease and illnesses like that. So, I'm not writing them off altogether in terms of clinical use, but I am saying that the brain, in general terms, in my field, in addiction, never gives you something for nothing. People want an instant fix, something that they can get on the quiet, so you don't really have to work for it, don't really have to put your heart and soul into it. You just get it on the cheap. And that's dangerous because there's always a comeback, there's always a fall off, there's always a come down.
Jason Auld, are you concerned about that? Are you concerned about the possible side effects of what you're taking?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm not stupid enough to argue with the doctor there. I'm just a kid from Edinburgh who rides a unicycle. I will say absolutely there's no such thing as a biological free lunch, and life is about decisions. Every time you make a decision, there's an opportunity cost there. What I would say is, as I mentioned before, every single day people are making decisions to take things that aren't improving their performance, that are giving them a cheap buzz. Even something as simple as, drinking a fizzy juice with too much sugar in it. And that's going to take years off your life. And at the end of the day, people say that life is a marathon, not a sprint. And I would argue that it's neither. It's a boxing match. And if you want to knock out your opponent in the first round, you're going to risk getting knocked out in the first round yourself. But I don't want it to go to the judges. I don't want a boring fight. So that's why I take nootropics.
Dr. Lefevre, when I was a student, a lot of people used to take caffeine tablets. They were the sort of drug of choice amongst the community then. And we know, students have always pulled all-nighters and have always had very large cups of coffee to get them through those events. If these drugs are actually relieving stress and making students able to cope better with the stress they're under, is that a merit to students taking them?
I don't think there's anything to be gained by taking a drug as such. I haven't used any form of medication for 31 years. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't use sugar or white flour, I don't have caffeine. I just don't believe in any of them. But what I've got instead, I go to 20 or 30 operas every year with my wife. I am writing a set of novels. I'm more creative now than I've ever been on nothing. I just enjoy my life and enjoy my food and enjoy particularly the contact I have with my wife.
But people are different,
it
aren't they? You must know that as a doctor better than anybody. You're obviously very fit, very healthy, able to cope with the lifestyle that you have, but people aren't always able to cope, are they?
A lot of people have very difficult circumstances in their lives. I mean, unemployment, bereavement, tragedies of one kind or another that come out of the blue, people who don't have the privilege that I've got. But everybody has an opportunity, and I think Jason is right to say that, people just want to try to improve themselves. All I'm saying is there are better ways of doing it than with psychotropic drugs of any kind.
Jason, thinking about students taking these drugs, do you think they're cheating if their friends aren't?
Well, I think if they are cheating, then me and Dr. Robert are going to have to go to the opera together at some point. I think at the end of the day, aren't we all kind of trying to get an edge in some way, shape or form? Whether it's,
but
getting an extra hour in bed.
I'm not taking these drugs. Most people aren't taking these drugs. It is a
No,
it's a
you're
small
not.
number.
But I think the word drug is also a loaded term. It makes it sound like you're doing something illicit. I think at the end of the day, what I would like to say is that we all want to use tools and supplementation to try and become better than we are. And I'm not going to argue with Dr. Robert. In fact, I have nothing but admiration and respect for a man that doesn't eat sugar, who doesn't even drink caffeine. I mean, I drink far too much coffee, as I'm sure you can tell. And I'm not going to say that, I'm not here to push the agenda of Modafinil. All I'm here to say is that, if you want to try and improve yourself, if you want total human optimization, then we should at least be able to explore these different options.
We did ask viewers to get in touch. One of those, Shelley Thomas, got in touch with us. She says she's been taking Ritalin, legally prescribed, to deal with the effects of narcolepsy. She points out that she has to have regular health checks for kidney function and blood pressure. She knows her drugs are clean. She advises viewers not to mess with these drugs because they're not getting tested. Dr. Lefevre, I mean, is this the big concern that actually what we're not monitoring is the effect that these drugs are having on healthy young people over any length of time? We just don't know if this is a time bomb.
That is the concern that we should have over anything that we put into our bodies. What are the long-term safety risks? If something's safe, then fine, why not? And a lot of medication has side effects, and we're aware of those, but we think that the benefits are going to be greater than the side effects. As far as the neurotropic drugs are concerned, the cognitive enhancers, we don't have enough information.
Okay.
We've really got to be careful with this.
And very, very briefly, Jason, are you concerned about the side effects? You're taking them?
It'd be naive of me to say that I think that I'm going to be totally fine, but look, at the end of the day, last year, 9,500 Londoners died because of air pollution in the capital. So yeah. I'm worried about the air I'm breathing outside. There's a huge checklist of things that if I don't want to die young, I'm going to take off first before I start. Stop looking at my Modafinil. But you know what? At the end of the day, absolutely, don't be reckless about this. Don't just take something that you can buy at the back of KFC. You really have to do your research, and there is no such thing as a biological free lunch. There is obviously consequences to every decision that you make. It's just whether, as the doctor said, the benefits outweigh the consequences.
Indeed.
And sometimes they don't.
Indeed, and Dr. Lefevre nodding along there. Jason Auld and Dr. Robert Lefevre, thank you both very much.
Thank you.